How's it going, everyone? My name is Warner-Kollman, and I'll be speaking briefly about creating the design of your presentation, whether it's through a Prezi, PowerPoint, or simply through photos. Having a visual aid to back up whatever topic you're talking about can greatly aid in explaining key points, but it can also be extremely distracting at the same time. It is important to find the right balance between boring and too busy to most effectively inform or persuade, depending on the presentation type. In my major, being industrial design, we redesign basic existing products. It's very necessary to have a well-designed presentation to back up our final design. I've seen too many cases where a student will create something amazing with beautiful drawings, but how they compose their final layout can deter any professor or even potential employer. This doesn't only apply in the design field, however. Having a well-designed visual presentation in any subject can be the difference between the audience learning from your teaching or leaving them more confused than they were. PowerPoint was designed in a way to conveniently display information and graphics to support the speaker without being the main focus. The last thing you want as a presenter is for your audience's attention to be solely on your slides rather than what you're saying. Many students, like myself, struggle in lectures because they're so invested in taking notes and copying down exactly what's on each slide, rather than listening to their professor analyze and interpret the information. When you begin making your presentation slides, it's always a good idea to create your own background template rather than using the default PowerPoint ones. Nothing loses the attention of a lecture hall full of tired students than the typical background they see time and time again. This can be as simple as choosing a color, maybe applying a gradient to that color, then putting a bar with a title on it across the top. After about 3 or 4 slides of the same background, it's a good idea to change one thing about it. This can be as simple as changing the overall color, even just the placement of the color bar with the title. Once you have your design template made, if you're placing an image over the color background, you may have to do some editing or more Google searching to find an appropriate photo that doesn't have a white background, such as this baseball here. With this picture, for example, you can find other images on Google that have opaque backgrounds. You can tell they have an opaque background if they have a white and gray checkerboard behind the image. If not, you may have to do a quick touch-up in Photoshop, but it makes the image look a lot better. You can even get fancy and put a drop shadow underneath. That looks good. Just remember, when searching for images on Google, or any site for that matter, always make sure that you aren't breaking copyright regulations and ensure that they're available for personal use. My suggestion is not to even give your audience a chance to be distracted. I honestly think the best thing you can do to keep their attention is to not give them anything to be visually distracted by in the first place, without making it too boring, of course. For example, in this slide, if the statistic is what you want your audience to remember, then really try to plant that number in their head and emphasize nothing else. That concludes all for this basic presentation design 101, and I will see you soon for more in-depth and detailed information about making a successful presentation. Thank you.